Wi-Fi issues. Somehow, for some weird reason, my computer disconnected from my Wi-Fi. And now I can't seem to get the screen back open on my phone. I didn't mention this earlier.
Perhaps it was a prop for a different trick. But why would it have been left here?
Whatever it
Got
is,
it open now.
let's make a note of it first.
No. I didn't lose Wi-Fi.
The
Yay.
floor is wet. Please be careful not to slip.
Speaking of which, why would there be water here?
Maybe it was for a trick?
Oh, Paimon knows! It's one of those tricks where you pour water into a jug and then flip the jug over only for the water to disappear? And here's a broken vase. Huh. Did the trolley knock it down while moving?
That can't be. The trolley moves along tracks from start to finish. It couldn't have hit the vase at this distance.
Let's note this down too and think about it later.
This is actually a mystery. Could Cal have been a part of this?
Oh, these are the clothes that the lady chosen from the audience was wearing, right? Her clothes are here, but she's nowhere to be found.
Lenny didn't mention the guests having a wardrobe change.
Right. And do you really need to do that if you're kidnapping them? Ugh, this is so confusing. Paimon doesn't want to be a detective anymore.
Look at that in a minute. Oh, missed it. High precision is required to complete this magic show, and tracks are perfect for making a trolley stay on its designated course. A ladder is required in order to return to the magic box above. Anything else I need to investigate down here? Nope. Seems I have investigated everything. Yep, everything's been investigated. So I can return to the surface level. Isn't anything left? There's nothing left there for me to investigate. I've already investigated everything down here. Anything over here? Oh! I could have investigated the trolley. The trolley is crucial for transporting the magic box to the other side. The culprit must have used this to execute their plan. vent! There's a vent!
What is this place?
Looks like a vent!
It seems someone could fit through here.
Huh. Could this have been the suspect's escape route?
Alone, perhaps. But if they had to pull another person with them, the space would be too narrow.
But there are no other ways in or out of here.
Other than those that go through the magic boxes. And Linny and Lynette were in the 2 magic boxes.
Oh, you're right! Let Paimon write that down. Seems we're just about done investigating down here.
Yes. Let's head back up.
Oh. Well, give me a chance to look at this. Oh? Okay. I wonder who it actually was that did it.
Well, we've ascertained the state of the crime scene. Let's find a place to sort out our findings once Malus returns. Seems to me that there are several things that don't add up here.
Apologies for the wait, demoiselle.
So, what did the guards say? Did the criminal escape through the vent?
They believe the odds of that are very low, since the vent leads to the Opera House's basement. The guards have checked the area carefully. No one left through the basement during the performance or after the incident, and
Did they
no
say
one
there
was
was a
found hiding
basement?
there.
So the tunnels become like a secret chamber then. You know, like the kind you usually see in novels.
It would seem so.
The plot thickens. Halsey's disappearance and Cowell's death are both quite inexplicable. No wonder Farina was so confident in her accusation. All the current evidence points toward Linny and Lynette.
In other words, the charges, we make some considerable progress.
Charges and then trial. So if the charges are upheld, they'll announce a sentence?
That's right. This is how a trial goes in the Opera House. During the proceedings, the Chief Justice and the Oratrice will hear statements from both sides.
The Oratrice Mechanique Denali's cutting out. Hi, Rosie!
That's right. This is how indemnitium is produced.
How are you
The
doing right now?
statements from both sides, the defenses from attorneys, witness testimonies, and even the audience's emotions will all be projected on the used by the Oratrice as a reference.
Justice. Yes, the guards also asked me to convey that none of us will be allowed to leave this place before the trial.
Huh? Why?
Because we've chosen to act as the twins' proxies. That makes us persons related to the case.
They're concerned that we might be colluding with outside parties.
Thank
or that
you
we might
for
find
reminding
outside
me.
help to disrupt the case.
It's still in my backpack. I forgot to plug it in. Thank you for the reminder. I will go do that right now. And it is now plugged in. And I have to fix my chair again.
And even if that were not so, it could prove problematic if we happen to spread key information about the case ahead of time.
I'm ready to break out at any time.
Huh?
Whoa! There's no need for that! Paimon thinks they have a point! That said, are they
I just hope you don't mind the lack of options. I'm afraid that catering to all tastes is not in the cards, nor is any guarantee of balanced nutrition.
Of course, Paimon asks if there's food. Of course, that's what she asks. It's Paimon. Why would I be surprised? It's like the only thing on her mind, probably 99% of the time, is food. All she ever thinks about is food. Why, Paimon? Why? Now's not the time to be picky.
In that case, let's just sort out our findings together here. Pity. I was hoping to take you to try some of Fontaine's famous desserts, too. I mean, what better way to properly think through our findings than over some tea and sweets?
Huh. Breaking out suddenly doesn't seem like such a bad idea after all.
Paimon! No! Not Paimon!
Just kidding, just kidding. Paimon will still do her best, even if there are no snacks.
Sure you will.
What do you mean, no snacks? Of course we'll have snacks. If we cannot buy some, then we'll simply make some.
Huh? Here? But how?
Understood, demoiselle. Everyone, please come with me.
Wait, you're carrying a portable stove with you?
Aww.
Yes, I must be prepared to meet the demoiselle's baking needs whenever the fancy strikes her.
I have eggs,
Why
sugar,
would
and almonds at the
anybody
ready.
carry a portable stove with them?
Good work, you two. Then
I'm
I'll
almost
get to it.
concerned.
Please sit tight for a moment. You'll get to taste my awesome snacks soon enough.
These three are quite the interesting group.
I don't understand why or how he managed to carry a portable stove with him. That makes no sense. Must be a Spina di Rosula thing.
And Paimon thought it smelled good while it was still in the oven. Oh, it's even better now. Paimon can't stop drooling. From the way you had these
Typical
two guys
Paimon.
carrying all that stuff around, Paimon thought you'd have them do more during the baking process. But you ended up doing the entire thing by yourself. Beating the egg whites, grinding almonds, everything.
I was applauding.
And I was giving encouraging smiles.
That's not quite what Paimon meant, but okay.
Paimon was just thinking, aren't you worried about getting your fancy dress dirty beating egg whites and baking like this?
Well, I don't think it's carved in stone anywhere that fancy ladies can only read books, sip tea, ride horses, and play the piano. I just really enjoy making snacks. Don't underestimate beating egg whites, by the way. It's a real arm workout. You also need to beat them to just the right consistency, or your macarons will crack. Anyway, give these a try, fresh out of the oven. There's 3 for each of us.
I so find it funny, the fact that Navia's umbrella is a weapon. She uses her umbrella as a weapon. Because if I remember correctly, her umbrella basically turns into a damn cannon. It's also kind of funny. Paimon, don't complain.
Well, eating too many sweet treats might send all that sugar to your head.
Exactly,
You wouldn't be able
Paimon.
to think clearly about the case on a sugar rush, would you?
Oh,
Tea is ready to be served as well. This is Demoiselle's favorite, strong black tea with a floral fragrance that clears the mind and lifts the spirit.
we don't talk about the fact that I will purposely eat sweets late at night just so that way I can have a sugar rush. We don't question why I do that. Why don't you take a break as well?
No need for concern. I'm merely doing as I should.
All right then. Down to business. As Paimon mentioned previously, the tunnel seems to be something of a secret chamber. However, we can assume that Linny and Lynette were not alone within it. Some criminal also occupied its sealed confines. The magician twins could have committed the crimes, of course, but they lack any logical motive.
Exactly! Why would they do such a thing right when everyone was watching?
Apart from the twins, we're left with two other people, the missing girl and the deceased.
The flower vase and the thud we heard during the performance could indicate some altercation between Halsey and the criminal in the tunnel, resulting in the shattering of the vase, the discarding of her clothes, and her abduction. Perhaps the criminal thought that since she was chosen from the crowd, she would be too easy to identify if she was still wearing the same clothes.
Paimon thinks that makes sense, but the real trouble is...
There's no evidence that this third person even exists.
True. None of the clues we found thus far support the existence of this third person. But the only people left to consider are both technically victims, whether it's the missing girl, Halsey, or poor Cowl.
Huh.
Wait,
Could
who's
Halsey
Halsey
have
again?
secretly made modifications to the magic props in order to murder Cowl before making her escape?
Oh wait, wasn't Halsey the missing girl? I don't know anymore. I already forgot. Sad I forget little details like that. She had no way of knowing how the trick worked.
That's right. And even if she had tampered with the setup, she would need to understand the entire trick to pull it off. Nor does she have any motive. The guard said that she has never had any dealings with the Magic Troop's members.
Were we not thorough enough in our search? From the sound of things, this is turning into an impossible case. Your macarons are amazing though, Navia. They smell great! They're nice and crisp and super sweet!
They are my specialty after all. And I see you've already had 5 of them.
What? 5? Oh, that can't be right. Paimon only counted 3, honest!
Please don't worry about it. At my age, a few less sweets might actually be a good thing.
No. Being greedy is one thing, but Paimon knows how to count. Besides, Paimon knows that if she ate too many, then others wouldn't have enough.
Oh, it's fine. Everyone knows how much you love eating. That's very true.
Wait, even you don't believe Paimon? How could you? If Paimon ate those 2 extra macarons, then may they turn into stone in her stomach!
All right, we get it. Well, I suppose one of us might have gotten too engrossed in our chat and eaten them by mistake. No big deal. Maloose, set up the stove again if you would.
Huh? What are you doing?
She's gonna make more.
Making sure everyone gets 3 macarons, of course.
Oh, there's really no need to do that.
Exactly. We don't want to trouble you.
As you wish, demoiselle.
And I have the egg, sugar, and almonds.
Hey, carry all this around!
Well, this really is your house.
I'm almost concerned. Why would you carry all that around?
Huh?
Well, that's it for snack time. I'm going to have another look around the area.
So one of them carries around a portable stove, and the other carries baking materials? Why? understanding the why to that. Why would anybody carry around a portable stove and baking ingredients everywhere they go? I just don't understand that.
I don't know what we're looking for yet, but we've still got some time. As attorneys, I suggest the two of you think the case over again. It would be awkward if you got all tongue-tied on stage during the trial.
Alright, thanks for your help, and for the snacks.
It was nothing. A small task for the Spina di Rosula. Silver, Malus, it's time to go. I'll be back if I find anything new.
Alright, it's time to put our heads together. We've got to get our defense ready for the trial. Oh, it's probably gonna be a long and difficult case. There's no point in worrying
Get out
about
here,
that now.
Father.
We just need to prepare. Here, take Paimon's notes. They should help you review the situation.
Oh, I want to try to get on top. My plan is to try to get on top of the box. I don't know why, but for some reason I just want to get on top of the box. Okay, I'm on top of this pole. Space up. Back a little. I'm on top of the box. I'm on top of the box. I'm on the box. Yippee! I made it out of the box. Well, let's see. How much have I saved up right now? 13 pulls so far. 136. And I think I had 54 pity. I think that's what I was at. Not pretty good pity, so right now, keep grinding. I would be able to get Kinich on the next phase. And then if I need to be able to have saved up enough so that way I can get Kinich and then pull on the Chronicle Wish banner. Ito's gonna be on that banner. And I'm pretty sure their weapon is also on it when they do the Chronicle Wish banner. That character's limited weapon is on that banner as well, I think. I don't remember anymore. But if that is the case, then I will have to get I will probably try to get Kaza's weapon as well. Depending on who there is on the banner, because I don't remember. No! No, the box is gone. Not my box. I lost my box. I'm sad. I lost my box.
What do we do? The whole situation is so confusing.
I do have some thoughts, but let's take things step by step.
Good plan. Impossible things don't just happen. We'll get to the truth one way or another.
Just relax. Even if everyone else suspects Lenny and Lynette, at least we will be supporting them from the stands. Besides, I doubt Farina understands any more about what happened than we do.
Thanks, Navia. Well, we'll be going then.
Best of luck
At least
to
I
you.
don't have to write an essay. Thank God I don't have to write an argumentative essay like I've had to do for my ELA class. And we have to write 5-paragraph essays.
Ah, finally, you're
Pain in the
back.
ass.
Well, how did your investigation go?
To be honest, you might be disappointed.
No. We're already very grateful that you were willing to help.
Well,
course I would
now,
help you
don't
too.
you all look disappointed? Don't tell me that your investigation came up empty-handed.
Shut up,
That
Farina!
was to be expected, of course. The guilty can never produce proof of their innocence.
I'm sorry, but if I yell at Farina, it is because I've been drove insane by her voice from the amount of times that I've heard her idol animation. And her idol voice lines. Because whenever my friend and I are doing multiplayer, we were doing co-op mode, because we're helping each other grind for stuff. She always has Farina on her team. And then when I have to go do something, or she has to go do something, and she has Farina out, I have to hear her voice lines non-stop, and it has drove me to a point of insanity. So, basically, I find her voice a little is definitely an understatement. I find her voice very annoying now. And my friend, I am very sorry, but this is my honest opinion. She's annoying now.
But don't let that stop you. I shall be terribly disappointed should you, my most anticipated foe, concede so easily.
Since when am I a foe? Huh? Frida, since when am I your foe? What? He's your enemy, girl! I'm just here to look for my brother! I'm only in Fontaine in search of my brother! Just you wait.
Since both parties are present, I declare that the trial regarding the magic show incident is now in session.
Monsieur
Firstly, in order for the audience to understand the causes and results of the incident, could we please have Mr. Linney explain the trick?
Yes, of course. I will explain while Lynette demonstrates on stage. All the necessary items have been prepared.
Is the box back?
Thank you, Mr. Linney. In that case, I take your statement to be that you ran to and remained hidden within the magic box in the audience stands once the trick began, and thus could not have committed the crime. Is this correct?
Yes, that's correct, Your Honor.
In that case, I call upon the prosecution. Lady Farina, do you wish to refute his statement in any way?
Why, of course I do. Allow me to take the first shot and break this case wide open. Mr. Linney is clearly lying. There is no way you could have been in the box the whole time if you were to abduct Halsey and murder Cowell. In fact, I'd say you were hardly in that tunnel at all.
That is simply your hypothesis based on the presumption that I'm guilty.
Oh, is that so? And if I may ask, what did you hear while you were inside your box?
The roaring countdown of the crowd, of course. That's how I kept track of the time and built anticipation for the finale.
And you didn't hear anything else at all? Nothing that might leave an impression of any kind?
No, nothing.
I see. But when the count reached 30 seconds or so, there was a thud. One so loud that I believe practically everyone heard it.
Huh?
Hey, hang on. Something's not right here.
How did Liddy not know about that sound?
Yeah, I'm sure he could have heard a noise that loud from inside the box.
I was right by the box and I definitely heard the thud.
Look at those scales. Could those mean...
They probably represented the Artrice's stance on the trial.
Well then, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to use the words of the magician himself.
You never know what can happen in the blink of an eye. Indeed, it seems his alibi can also collapse in the blink of an eye. Of course, I have armed myself to do far more than smash your alibi. Confidence cannot go unfounded, and my foundations are rock solid.
You're gonna lose, Farina.
Aren't you and Lynette actually from the House of the Hearth?
Oh, shut up, Farina! Shut your mouth! I'm getting pissed off right now. So what if they're from the House of the Hearth? So what? They were orphaned. So what? They have father. Oh wait! I think I just realized something. I think the reason why she's calling them out for being from the House of the Hearth is because of the fact that father tried to kill her. Father attempted to murder Farina before. I don't know why I'm laughing about that, but it is funny for some reason.
The House of the Hearth?
They're not Patui. No. No, they are not. They are not Patui. They are not.
No wonder they did something like this.
They
So the
wouldn't.
serial disappearances were the Fatui's doing. Now it all makes sense.
I've got a feeling that what happened on stage probably wasn't just an accident.
That's irrelevant. Our identities have nothing to do with what happened.
Indeed. Then perhaps you could tell us everything that happened during that 1 minute. Your first priority is to prove yourself innocent after all. I'm sure there is little that needs to be kept secret now. Unless your script already has holes in it. The Outlander is speechless. My, oh my, don't they look flabbergasted? Now comes the infighting and discord, I suppose. This was almost too easy.
Concerning?
Good thing I made all those preparations. Seems the all-nighter I pulled last night is really paying off.
Huh?
Hey, Linny, why didn't you tell us this before?
I knew never Fatui. I refuse to believe they are Fatui.
Order! Order! Mr. Linney, allow me to re-establish the facts. Lady Farina has raised 2 points. First, when the thud was heard in the Opera House, you were neither in the box nor the tunnel. Second, you and Ms. Lynette are both members of the House of the Hearth. Are these claims true?
There's no doubt about the magician's ability to con others. Given how Linny has concealed his identity, this could all have been set up beforehand. Plush Child is here in Fontaine, along with other house operatives. There must be some scheme at work here. I've been a victim of such schemes before, and now...
Please answer my question, Mr. Linney.
I'm sorry. Yes, they're true, Your Honor.
Look in his eyes!
I knew it!
Well, that's it. We might as well move on to the sentencing already.
No!
What do we do now?
Permission to speak, Your Honor.
Granted.
My client has withheld some key information.
In that case, what is your request?
I request a brief adjournment. There are things that must be discussed.
Is that really necessary? They're already as good as guilty.
The defendant
Lies!
deceived their own attorneys.
Lies!
What is there left to discuss?
Lies!
Order!
All
Order,
lies!
I say! Your request is reasonable, and we shall adjourn. This trial will reconvene in 1 hour.
So you would stick to Mr. Linney's defense even after knowing what you do now? You certainly have more professionalism than I thought.
Cállate,
In
mierda!
that case, my dear audience,
Shut the
let's
fuck
allow
up,
the
Marina!
joy of victory to steep for a little while longer.
I really do need to calm down. I get pissed off easily for some odd reason.
Well, this is awkward. I didn't think the Hydro Archon would dig all that up. I'm sorry, Traveler and Paimon.
It's fine. I already knew y'all from Hellstar.
Sorry.
No, that was from the beginning.
Paimon doesn't know where to start. We trusted you two. We based our entire reasoning on the assumption that you weren't bad guys.
They aren't though!
Not to set the wrong tone or anything, but Paimon's really mad.
I'm very sorry. I know you're angry, and reasonably so, but please, let me explain. I know you've clashed with the Vatui several times before. I wouldn't be surprised if just hearing the word is enough to make you upset. But our organization is very, very large, and the Harbingers have very different personalities and goals.
Right now, we want to save people. As many as we can.
That's right. I'm sure we're on the same page when it comes to this nation and the disaster that its people might face. I knew if it weren't for our respective identities, we could become good friends. That's why I didn't wish to flat out lie to you, but chose to hide some details instead. The truth is very important, but being completely transparent about everything would see us spending more effort than we need to.
But how can we know this isn't all just another lie?
Right. So, you be the judge. Heck, if I were you, I fear that I'd even struggle to trust me at this point.
I trust him.
You met a Fatus who works as a magician, a trickster by trade. All by coincidence, too. But still, I'm asking you to trust me. I am no criminal. At least, not in this case.
Sorry. Please forgive us.
Please, too.
Well, you both say that, but
Where did you actually go while the trick was being performed?
right. Let's hear your answer first, and no lies now.
Of course. I'll answer any question you ask. We've been trying to find out how the Oratrice operates. We want to know why it has a consciousness. Why can it deliver sentences accurately? During our investigations, we learned that the machine's core is beneath it. From that moment on, Lynette and I have been designing this box swap trick, with the objective of getting close to the core.
Is that why you needed a whole minute?
That's right. In truth, the audience would take about 75 seconds to count down from 60, while I would only need 15 to get to the opposite box. So, after jumping into the tunnel, I accessed the Opera House basement via the vent, and went to investigate the room in which the core is stored.
That air vent was created during the construction of the tunnel specifically to execute this step.
And what did you find?
Well, nothing. As soon as I reached that room and was about to investigate, I heard someone's voice. Which should have been impossible, of course. I was quite certain that I was the only one in the room. That voice seemed to recognize me and tried to speak to me. I chose to err on the side of caution and retreated the way I came. On the way back, I saw the broken vase and the clothes on the ground, but the countdown was almost finished, so there wasn't time to give it any thought. After that, the homicide occurred just as you saw.
Well, that explains why you didn't hear the thud.
Why do you want to understand how the Oratrice operate?
Because of that prophecy I told you about, of course. We must know all we can about this nation's secrets in order to deal with that prophesized crisis.
That's the only way we can save everyone.
So, There you have it, the whole truth. I swear, I didn't hide anything from you this time. It was never my wish to proceed under this cloud of mistrust either. But like I said earlier, you can be the judge. If you want to leave because you don't trust the Fatui, there's nothing I can do to stop you.
Well, Traveler,
That's some
you
Fatui.
decide. Paimon will follow your lead however you choose.
I believe in that. I will defend you from these charges.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks for giving us a chance.
The current problem is that the scales are tipped pretty badly against you two. If we want to refute the Hydro Archon's accusations, we're gonna need a seriously watertight defense.
Actually, we already have the key evidence we need.
Huh?
The German's almost over. Let's go back.
Oh, Paimon thinks she gets what you mean.
Something you wish to report? Go on. You have my undivided attention.
Both parties have returned to their positions. Let us continue the trial.
I'm missing one.
When last we left off, Mr. Linney acknowledged the new evidence presented by Lady Farina as fact. Therefore, Lady Farina may continue stating her reconstruction of the events.
That took long enough. Now then, if everyone would lend me their attention. At this stage, let's revisit that scene from Linney's perspective.
Attention seeker.
As the countdown began, he entered the tunnel. When the flatbed trolley passed, he opened the box and got into an altercation with Halsey, which caused the loud thud. He did not realize that this sound could be heard by everyone in the opera house, which is why he claimed earlier that he could not hear the sound.
You're lying, Farina.
Finally, he used the vase to knock her out, before making her change clothes to prevent others from recognizing her. At this time, Cowell arrived in the tunnel, having heard that strange noise, and caught Linney red-handed. So Linney proceeded to knock him out too before stuffing him into that box. Afterward, Linney passed the unconscious Halsey to his accomplice through the magic box in the audience stands, before operating the devices such that Cowell's death would be ruled an accident. And there you have it. That's the truth behind what happened.
No, it's not.
Does the defendant's side have any objections to Lady Farina's description of the events?
Major
The key
objection.
to refuting Lady Farina is the order of events. What Linney experienced and what he saw.
According to Linny, he left via the vent after entering the tunnel. He couldn't have had that altercation with Halsey. Linny went to the room that contains the Oratrice's core. This is the actual truth. Linny did not take part in the underground altercation. He only...
Attention! Ace Detective Paimon has something to say!
Didn't you say you were tired of being a detective?
When the countdown started, Linny did indeed go into the tunnel. But he immediately used a vent to access the Opera House basement, which is where the underground core of the Oratrice is stored. Once he reached that area, he heard a voice in what should have been an empty room. Since he felt something was amiss, he returned immediately. The crime scene had already developed by the time he reached the tunnel again, and in order to complete the magic trick, he did not remain there for any length of time. Finally, he reached the surface, and that was when the accident happened from his point of view. Therefore, he's innocent!
Well said, Paimon. Well said. Well said, Paimon. I'm actually proud.
Paimon did it! Paimon actually managed to say all that!
Round of applause for Paimon.
Wasn't it awesome?
In other words, you believe that he knew nothing of the incident?
That's right!
Moreover, I believe my opposition's reasoning is flawed.
My reasoning?
However, you say that Cal bumped into Linny by chance.
If that's the case, then if Cowell hadn't entered the tunnel, who was the entire setup meant to kill? Assuming that what you say is true, Linny only needed to kidnap the young girl to cause a new disappearance case. What would the point of killing someone on stage be?
Oh, they have a point.
That's right, you tell him! And that's why they're partners of mine. They've managed to turn things around.
Let's go!
Well, your denial is very strident, I'll give you that. But what proof do you have to back your claims?
Do you happen to remember how you refuted Linny's alibi initially?
Of course I do. If he had been in the magic box the whole time, how could he have not heard that sound? Why do you ask? You're saying that he wasn't?
Crime has now become my weapon. Any statement? My brain is not working. I honestly feel like I need help. Strange sound. Maybe?
That's right! Linny wasn't in the box or in the tunnel. That's why he didn't hear anything strange during the performance. This means that when the crime happened, Linny had already entered the basement via the vent.
You mean
The same
via?
clue you used to disprove his alibi has now become the best proof! How do you like that?
Well played.
Nice one, Paimon!
To think you'd use such logic. Well then, if it wasn't Linny who committed the crimes, then who was it?
Never was.
The deceased's name is Cowl, Linny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment. Could there have been a third person involved? Is that really a possibility?
It is. That could be a major possibility. Because Linny said that he heard a voice in the basement. He heard another voice when he was in the basement.
The deceased's name is Cowl.
Really do think there could have been a third person, though.
Huh? That can't be right. Are you serious? The killer was, in fact, Cowl, the deceased!
Bro literally committed suicide to
Is
frame
that
Linny.
so? How interesting! Let's hear your reasoning then.
What I must do next is recreate the truth. What Cowl did, and how he went from would-be perpetrator to victim. Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal ample time. No one entered or left the Opera House through its entrances. So, where would the criminal have wanted to take Halsey? The deceased's name is Cowl, Linny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. So, there must have been some fear that she would attract attention. It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. They would likely have bumped into Linny as well. Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave... The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. No one entered or left the Opera House through its entrance. Linny was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal... It would have been tough for both people to fit. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between... Lenny was not in the tunnel at that... The deceased's name is Cowl, Lenny's assistant. He would have been... No one entered or left the opera... The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the... Halsey's clothing was in the tunnel. The deceased's name is Cowl.
So I got the first two right.
No one entered or left the opera house through its entrances. The deceased's name is Cowl, Lenny's assistant. No one entered or left the opera... No one entered or left...
Can't choose the same.
It would have been tough for both people to fit into...
Gotta flip it.
The deceased's name is Cowl. No one entered or left the opera house.
Huh? Oh, I didn't realize I wasn't reading it. The criminal must have understood the methods behind Lenny's magic trick, and must have been in a position to easily modify the equipment. Leaving aside how he died, Howell had all the means to commit the crime at his disposal. The strange noise could likely have been the sound of Cal and Halsey struggling. Lenny was not in the tunnel for 1 minute. This would have given time for Cal to bring Halsey out of the magic box in the audience stands. But according to the guard's testimony, no one entered or left the opera house. So even if he had taken her, there'd be no means of exiting. Exiting from the box would have been in full view of the audience, pretty much guaranteeing that they would be discovered.
What's wrong, Traveler? Are you still having trouble figuring things out?
Where in the world did Halsey go?
I see how it is. So this was all just a bluff. And here I thought you had something to show for it. But it seems you're still far from the truth.
Look, since we're at a dead end, why not consider a different track?
Halsey never was found.
Just like the trick as it transpired, the end result must have been utterly different from the magician's initial design.
If only we knew how Halsey disappeared.
Well, that would be nice, but the tunnel only has 3 exits, and none of them seem very likely. And it's not like this is a magic trick where you can just make a real live person disappear. You know, like you did from that water tank, Lynette.
Escaping from the water tank. Wait, could it have been the water?
Excuse my interruption, dear opponents, but do you not see that the crowd is growing impatient? There is no greater sin in this opera house than an awkward delay in the performance.
The water tank.
If the defense is unable to make further effective arguments, we will move on to the next stage of the trial.
Huh? What the heck just happened? I lost my audio. What the fuck? Why did I just lose sound? Why the hell did I lose my audio? I literally cannot hear the game at all. Oh, please tell me it's not going to crash in the middle of it. Oh, there's the game
Lenny
audio.
was not in the tunnel at that moment, which gave our criminal ample time. The sound we heard may have come from a clash between the missing Halsey and the criminal. The deceased's name is Cowell, Lenny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment. No one entered or left the opera house through its entrances. So, where... It would have been tough for both people to fit into that vent. The vase was not broken by chance. It was used to cover important evidence. The water.
The water is the key! The water is key to figuring out this mystery! And save Lenny and Lynette from being accused as guilty! Prove Farina wrong! That's my main goal.
Paimon gets it! It all comes together if Halsey disappeared instead of being kidnapped. Lynette escaped from the water tank, vanishing gradually and leaving only clothes behind. If there's a similar method where a person could be transformed into water...
Oh, just a moment, please. I do hope you know how preposterous you sound at the moment. How could a person ever be transformed into water? This is reality we're talking about here, not some magic trick.
First that we examine Cal's personal effects. Might find something there.
Must we really? I should think that of anyone. Your friend Linny already knows this truth very well. Magic tricks are ultimately just illusions and misdirection. But Halsey's disappearance is very real. We're talking about two completely different things.
Even so, I trust the Traveler's judgment. The truth must be out there somewhere. Perhaps some new line of reasoning may open if we try to gather all the focal points that don't make sense. Since Cal was the deceased, we haven't placed much attention on him. But given that we aren't making much progress with the case, it wouldn't hurt to have a look at his belongings, would it?
People really do come up with all sorts of harebrained schemes when at the end of their rope. The way I see it, your suggestion that we broaden the scope of our investigation is nothing but a tactic for stalling the trial.
Nevertheless, I believe that this is a reasonable request on the part of an attorney. Since the trial does indeed appear to be at an impasse, I believe that additional evidence may help us make more progress. Guards, please step into the lounge and examine the personal effects of the deceased, Cowell.
Okay. We'll be right back. I'm gonna go grab me something to eat. Okay, I am back.
We are still examining the items, but we have already made critical progress that we feel must be shared with everyone post-haste. We discovered several test tubes of fluid within Cowell's baggage, each labeled separately. The notebook in his backpack claims that these fluids are... water from the primordial sea.
The primordial sea.
The note's contents also indicate that Cowell belonged to an organization that sells illegal drugs and that he had an accomplice. The notebook has many entries concerning safe usage of these fluids, in which the keyword dissolve appears many times. One of these tubes was labeled Opera Epiclese, along with yesterday's date. It is empty. The notes also state that these dissolution properties work exclusively on people from Fontaine. It's likely that Halsey was chosen as some sort of test subject. As such, we believe that the defense's hypothesis is, in fact, supported by sufficient evidence.
You've got to be kidding! People dissolving into water?
Could something so ridiculous actually be true?
Wait a moment. This reminds me of a certain prophecy, but it's just a coincidence, isn't it?
Huh.
Oh shit.
If people can become water, does that mean that the water tank's real use was as a means to hide water stains? And if Cowl was targeting that girl... Wait just a minute. Could that mean... You two, with me, quick!
Demoiselle, wait! What about your partners?
Let's go. Just trust me.
Order! Order! It is undeniable that further examination of the deceased's personal effects has yielded some surprising results, but we cannot yet verify the veracity of these clues. Still, let us assume that these clues are indeed authentic, albeit with the understanding that Ms. Halsey has yet to be found. Guards, please continue examining the items along these lines. Mr. Linney, it appears your hypothesis is supported by the evidence, so please continue speaking.
Of course. Thank you, Your Honor. If we uphold this hypothesis, I believe that many of this case's seemingly unrelated clues can be connected together.
Right! Like the metal hook! That one didn't make sense at all. Let's think about this. Cowell's methods must have something to do with that water from the primordial sea.
That was the missing clue! I think that one was the missing clue out of my thing.
The deceased's name is Cowell, Linny's assistant. He would have been able to tamper with the equipment. The rope that strung the water tank up was lit by the fireworks and cut. As such, the focus here is on the water and not the tank. The water from the primordial sea should already have been prepped before Halsey entered the magic box. Lynette was in the magic box on stage the entire time. Did she have something to do with this? I remember there was something else within the inner layer of that box. Now it seems like the hook rope was not meant for another magic trick, but was instead some form of triggering mechanism. Now it seems like the hook rope was not meant for another magic trick.
That one for that?
The rope that strung the water tank.
Okay, so it's not that.
Lynette was in the magic box on stage the entire time. I remember there was something else within the...
It's Ace Detective Paimon's time to shine again! In the original plan, Cowell would tamper with the water tank rope and the number selector securing his target. When the magic box containing Halsey was lowered, the metal hook would retract gradually and pierce the balloon at the top of the box. When the balloon attached to the box popped, the water from the primordial sea inside it would pour down and dissolve Halsey. Afterward, Cowl would enter the tunnel and break the flower vase to conceal the water inside the tunnel, with the remaining evidence being covered up by the water tank on stage. But he encountered something unexpected in the tunnel, and wound up being fatally hit by the same water tank he meant to use to cover his tracks.
Huh. That does make sense.
That actually links together a lot of the more confusing pieces of evidence.
Oh dear, what do I do? Even I think they sound convincing now. Have I falsely accused an innocent person? What a humiliation.
No.
Yeah, that is humiliating.
It seems like the only point of contention remaining is the exact circumstances that led to Cal's death. His notes mentioned he had an accomplice who could be related to the situation.
On that note, the guards have just contacted me indicating that they uncovered new evidence. I shall now invite him on stage to share it with us.
Thank you, Your Honor. We were just inspecting the luggage of the other people involved in this case. And we found an identical sample of the water from the primordial sea among Linny's personal effects.
What?
That can't be.
Oh, I see.
Ricky had no idea
how
what that even
wonderfully
was.
comedic to have your own counterattack only to come back and wound you. Does this not clear all doubt? My dear citizens, my loyal audience, allow me to present my reasoning and bring this performance to a swift close.
My brain is not
They
working.
did not need to take part in the dissolution of the young woman at all. Indeed, he did leave the scene via the vent. Having made modifications to the props beforehand, his accomplice Cowl then caused Halsey to vanish using the water from the primordial sea. But upon his return, in cruel avarice, Linny desired sole credit and prepared to do away with his partner in crime. Ultimately, he knocked Cowl out, and the tool meant to cover the crime up also became a murder weapon. Now, as much as I regret having come to such a viciously straightforward conclusion, it does seem that the famed Fatui is quite the cold-blooded and ruthless organization.
Lies! Lies, I say! I claim it to all be lies. Why would Linny ever have any motive to kill anybody? There's no reason to kill anyone.
Am I right, Mr. Linny?
No, you're wrong.
We've used up all the evidence we collected. There's no way for us to make a rebuttal here. Is this the end of the road?
Oh no! Paimon can't think of anything either. It doesn't look like there's any way around this. Seems using the water as new evidence was too good a move. Why did this have to happen now?
I think we've all seen enough now, and we have ample witnesses to my flawless reasoning. I believe this is indeed the finale.
No.
Now then, my good, noble Chief Justice, should we not, in your view,
Excuse me, everyone, but I must interject.
Miss, I must ask you not to shout and to respect the ongoing legal proceedings.
Oh, come on. Don't be hasty. I have a good reason for interrupting, you know. Now, would anyone here like to take a little break from all this debate and see a little magic? I'll show you an amazing trick. One that can bring a young woman who has disappeared back in the flesh, right before your very eyes. Please, do the honors, Mr. Linny, if you would be so kind.
But what in the world is she saying?
No offense, miss, but miracles like that are beyond my scope as a magician.
Come on now, don't be silly. Magic is all about misdirection, isn't it? It often conceals the truth while presenting a fascinating illusion. But once everyone believes the illusion, can't magic reveal the truth to them once again?
That's true!
And wouldn't such a trick be the most marvelous finale to today's performance? Come on, Lenny and Lynette. Give it another go. Don't worry. Spina di Rosula has made the necessary arrangements on your behalf. But, as the magic makers and stars of the show, I think I should leave the final performance to you.
I understand.
And voila!
Sorry for the interruption.
Wait, isn't that Halsey? So the whole thing about people dissolving wasn't true after all?
To be clear, I'm only here because this person told me that if I testified, the merit of doing so would lessen my sentence. I was hiding outside this room listening to the proceedings because I was afraid that I would be the one put on trial. I was just feeling happy that no one had noticed me, and then before I knew it, she caught me.
That'll teach you to underestimate us three.
Where should I begin? I'm sorry. I'm the one who killed Cowl. I admit it.
What?
Huh?
Why?
Firstly, my name isn't Halsey. It's Lillian, and I'm originally from Mondstadt. I heard that Linny's show was gonna be a real thriller, but I missed the chance to buy a ticket, so I stole one. That's how I make a living. I steal stuff here and there, and I'd never been caught before. But I was noticed at the harbor a few days ago, and I barely got away. Linny was the one who caught me in the act.
Hey, no wonder you look familiar. So you were the thief! Liddy even mentioned that you were pretty skilled.
Well, and I thought that would have been the end of it, but then the number selector chose me. He even mentioned the Fortress of Meripede. That's a prison, isn't it? So you can imagine how shocked I was. I thought he was onto me for sure.
The freaking one! Ryan's Lee! I love Ryan! Too bad he basically spends all his time there. What a shame.
So I played along with the show while looking for an opening to flee, but then I got water poured on me for no reason, and then someone jumped into the tunnel to nab me. I wasn't going to take that lying down, so I knocked him out and stuffed him into the box. There was nowhere to run from there, though, so I had to change my clothes and hide in a box containing performance costumes. I slipped out after the first guard arrived at the scene and continued hiding inside the opera house.
Can a person even hide in there?
I thought. She never left! It's exactly as I thought before. She had never left. If they're a practiced hand at concealing properly, professional thief could make it work.
But I swear I didn't know that the water tank would fall down. Really, I swear it. Had I known that, I wouldn't have put him in the magic box. I may be a thief, but I'm no killer.
Well, that makes everything pretty clear now, doesn't it?
Yeah. Now it's time to repeat the Hydro Archon's previous reasoning.
This time, we need to tell the entire story from Lillian's perspective. The strange sound. The flower vase was not. Lillian was afraid that she would be recognized if she left. So.
And it's Ace Detective Paimon time!
God, that's so funny.
Having been selected out of the blue, Lillian panicked. Her panic only intensified after she entered the tunnel and had water poured on her head. So she kicked the door open, producing the thud we all heard. Hearing the commotion, Cowell leapt into the tunnel, only to discover that Lillian had not dissolved. He did not know that Lillian was not from Fontaine, but was a thief who made her way in by stealing a ticket. Mistakenly believing that the water from the primordial sea needed time to take effect, he tried to force Lillian back into the box. The two broke the flower vase during the struggle, but Lillian came out on top, knocking Cowell out and putting him in the box. With no way of escaping, she changed her clothes and hid in the costume trunk until the performance ended.
Yeah!
She knew that she would have to go through guard inspection if she tried to leave afterward. So, she has been trapped in the Opera House these last 2 days.
She had already become desperately hungry by the time we were chatting over macarons. So, she swiped 2 of them right under our noses. Talk about a sneaky thief.
At this point, all the events that happened in the tunnel have now come to light.
Ah, so that's the whole story.
Bravo! Bravo!
Now then, Lady Farina, do you wish to speak against the defense's statements? Please answer the question, Lady Farina. Also, if I may add, the trial has not yet ended. As such, I request that the prosecution not leave the room before the proceedings have concluded.
Girl got called out!
Are you reading my mind now?
No, you were obviously about to leave.
No, I have no further arguments. I admit defeat. But really, could you at least have left me with some dignity?
Wow, look at that! She's like a deflated balloon now.
If there are no objections, then as the Chief Justice of Fontaine, I shall once again repeat the full sequence of events. The actual perpetrator of the serial disappearances, Cowell, selected his next victim from the audience reservation list. With some modifications to the selector, he could ensure that the pre-selected young woman would be chosen. To cover up any evidence while committing the deed, Cowell thought of allowing the water tank to fall, which would conceal the water left behind after the young woman was dissolved. He also tampered with the rope suspending the water tank, using the fireworks at the end of the performance to cause the tank to drop and hide the watermarks. He poured the water from the primordial sea into a balloon during the preparation of the magic box and stuck it to the box's lid. Finally, he passed the prepared hook on a rope through the gap in the magic box's door when bringing the young woman to said box. When the magic trick officially began, the box containing the woman was lowered into the tunnel, tightening the hook rope and bursting the balloon containing the water. If all had gone to plan, the young woman would be dissolved at this time. However, Lillian was not from Fontaine, and thus fled the box with a loud noise. Realizing that there was trouble, Cowell entered the tunnel and met Lillian. Thinking that the waters had not yet taken effect, he decided to proceed. However, his opponent was more capable than he thought, and he was overcome, knocked unconscious, and placed into the magic box, and thus became his own final victim. Lillian, according to her own statements, then changed clothes and hid until the performance ended, before hiding in other parts of the opera house. As for Linny, he was in the underground structures within the opera house, and was thus ignorant of these happenings. From this reconstruction of events, we can conclude that Linny, the accused, is in fact innocent.
Let's go!
While there is much in Linny and Lillian's conduct that should still be investigated separately, this case, at least, can be handed over to the Oratrice to make the final decision.
Linny's innocent!
As such, Linny and Lynette are officially declared not guilty.
Let's go!
Great work, partners.
Thank you all. Thank you so much.
Let's not celebrate just yet.
Next, I think we deserve an explanation, Guard Vaughn. How did you find the water from the primordial sea in Linny's baggage?
Right! Your discovery caused me to make a serious mistake, you know. Or was that not a discovery, but false evidence that you dare to bring before this court?
I suspect that the accomplice mentioned in Cowell's notes was not Linny, but you, yes? I'm sure you know what you must do to lessen your sentence.
Speak quickly, unless you want to earn yourself a one-way ticket to Coupon Town.
I was just following orders. We were supposed to place blame for the serial disappearances onto Linny, and thus cause suspicion to fall on the Fatui. The higher-ups said this was the best opportunity to do so.
And now that your plan has fallen through, and the secrets of the water have been revealed, you have become a liability to said higher-ups, yes? Therefore, you would be wise to tell everything you know, and seek the protection of the guards.
Yes, I'll tell you everything I know. Our boss discovered that the water can cause people to dissolve. It can also be made into a potion, which when extremely diluted, can cause people to experience unforgettable exhilaration. We've been in this business for a while now, and have made decent more off it. The disappearances were also the boss's idea. I mean, this is the boss we're talking about. The...
He turned into water.
And now he can no longer talk.
Such ruthlessness. I shouldn't have expected any less of them.
Just hearing the word ruthlessness makes me think of what Poseidon says. It makes me think of Epic the Musical. God damn it, why does everything make me think of Epic the Musical now?
An outrageous act. All present, please submit to inspection immediately.
What the fuck is happening now?
So, we're just going back now?
We're not needed here anymore.
That's true, but...
Traveler, Paimon, please wait.
Linny...
I know you may not want to speak to me right now. Maybe you don't even want to look at me. But still, let me thank you again for defending me to the end, even after you learned that I'm a member of the Fatui.
didn't wish to see anyone be falsely accused.
I guess. But regardless, I'd like the opportunity to set things straight. I didn't approach you with any ulterior motives or ill intent. I've spoken to you as myself, just plain Linny this entire time. As for why I'm a Fatus, it's because the goals of the House of the Hearth align with those of an orphan like me. That's all. That was how Father, who you might know as the Knave, approached recruiting us back then too.
The Knave? The one who controls the House of the Hearth? She's your father?
Father! We
That's
love
right.
Father!
And since we're here, I was wondering, would you mind hearing a story? It's about my past. Back when our parents first died, Lynette and I were left wandering the streets. To survive, I took to surreptitiously observing an older street performer who did magic. It took me several days to figure out how he pulled off his amazing tricks. I took my sister through several streets until we found a crowded corner, and we began to perform magic tricks there. To my surprise, we proved to be pretty popular, and we could at least stop worrying about where our next meal would come from for a time. But I didn't want my sister to remain a street rat together with me forever. Before long, an aristocrat came to me and claimed that he wished to take us in after watching my performances.
So you went from orphans to nobility just like that?
That was how we felt at first too. As if fate was on our side and we could say goodbye to those painful days. But I gradually discovered that while we were called foster children, he was really after my talent for magic tricks. He would constantly take me to all sorts of banquets to garner attention, which he would then use to expand his social circles.
That doesn't seem too bad either. Better than roaming the streets at any rate.
It took a while for me to realize just how dark his heart really was. After one particular performance at a banquet, I discovered that Lynette was not on the same return vehicle as me. I waited a long time after we returned home, but she did not come back. I went to that noble's bedroom and asked him about her whereabouts. The answer he gave me was, she caught the eye of the most eminent person at the banquet, so I sent her over as a gift. I mean, you'll be able to perform your magic regardless of who your assistant is, yes?
Oh no. So he was gonna... But wouldn't Fontaine's laws deal with such people?
As far as outsiders are concerned, this is a relationship akin to adoption or foster care, and they have their ways of escaping the eye of the law.
What happened after that?
I managed to ferret out the location of the mansion of that so-called eminent person and hurried through the night. But by the time I leaped over the walls, avoided the guards, and made my way in, all I saw was the moonlit ground covered in blood, and the knave standing there in the darkness.
So, she'd already taken care of that guy.
That's right. She had rescued my sister before she could come to any harm, and had even discovered several girls hidden in a basement, all of them orphans.
Oh, that is fucked up.
Father, I mean, the knave, might have seen something in me, and so she made me an offer. The House of the Hearth welcomes you, for your interests align with ours. Here, none will ever betray you. Indeed, betrayal shall never be permitted here. I was hesitant to trust her. I mean, I had just been betrayed by nobles. But she was also quick to destroy the noble who had taken us in at first, giving us back our freedom.
Oh, so that's how the two of you joined the House of the Hearth.
Maeve is after the Gnosis, isn't she?
She has her own plans. She has gained permission from the Sarita to first use the Gnosis' power when she obtains it. She plans to use it to find a way to break the prophecy and save Fontaine.
So, she believes in that prophecy too?
That's right. The whole House of the Hearth is currently working to combat that crisis. Today's case has also proven that people from Fontaine can indeed dissolve into some sort of water, thus further supporting the prophecy. Everyone at Hotel Bouffe d'été, including the Knave, has their roots in Fontaine, and we will always defend our homeland. To us orphans, the only connection we have left to this world, apart from our family, is our homeland.
So, from small deeds like distributing magic pockets to huge schemes like stealing a Gnosis, everything is aimed at dealing with that prophecy.
Sorry, but I still can't completely trust you.
It's all right. I understand. The only thing I can do is relate all this to you. I just hope you can understand that even as a member of the House, I have never stopped making my own decisions, and that I believe what I'm doing is right. If you should need anything at all in the future, feel free to find me. I will do my best to help you, as plain Linny.
I understand.
Bye, Linny!
Where on the map is it? Where? Oh. Well, guess I'll leave it tomorrow. So, I'm going to have to end it here. I think. No. I will continue it, but I'm going to go heat up my supper real quick because I have not eaten yet. So, I will be back in a few minutes. Okay, now I am back. Oh, achievements. Nice. Only took a couple minutes, which is good. It's sad because I actually do fully trust them, though.
Hey there. What was with the disappearing act you pulled right as the trial ended?
Were you looking for us, Navia?
Well, this whole thing isn't exactly over, is it? I do feel that we're getting closer to solving the serial disappearances case, though. Don't you think so, too?
Alright. I'm sorry, Navia.
Huh? What's wrong, my dear partner?
I was really only trying to defend Lenny.
Besides, are you sure we're the ones who can crack a case that's been cold for decades now? And given that there's new evidence from the trial, there should be a trail of breadcrumbs for the Hydro Archon's people to follow now, right?
Ah. I see. Well, I won't lie. I'm a little shocked to hear that from you. But I suppose you are just travelers who have only arrived in Fontaine after all. Sorry. I might have been too presumptuous.
Don't say that, Navia.
Ah, and we were having so much fun investigating with you, too. It was like having new waters flowing into a stagnant mire, causing new hope to spring forth, and the reflection in the murk to become clearer. Sorry about that. I'm a bit prone to nostalgia. Don't mind me. Wait, shall we have a farewell meal? You know, to commemorate our time as partners?
Huh? Do we really need to get that formal? Well, guess you really did treat us as partners, huh?
Well, I'd just like to have a proper ending to every important memory. That way there are no regrets later. Anyway, it would just be a meal, so it shouldn't take up too much of your time.
Let's go have that meal then.
You don't have to twist Paimon's arm. If Boss Navia's treating, count Paimon in!
Oh, wonderful! In that case, why don't we return to the court of Fontaine and head to the Hotel de Boer? I believe we'll make it just in time for dinner.
All right then, let's have our farewell meal!
And that completes that part. Oh, do I have commissions and this? That in one sec. Let's see. Okay, yep, I'm on the right quest. Find this. Go claim this. On the opposite side. I'm gonna claim this before I end up forgetting.
Ad Astra Abyss.
I don't want to have to listen to Catherine's voice. She's annoying. I've heard that line so many times, it's not even funny.
Thank you for completing today.
I've heard that voice line way too many times.
Peculiar thing. When I was young, Mother favored me.
Okay, something in our vents again. It sounds like there's some kind of animal or something in the vents. I heard pretty loud thud sound coming from the
usual
floor
set of abilities I possess. No one was able to
Like a
discern
cat.
their true nature, not even me. We would only speculate
when is there
that
not
they
a
were
cat
the
in the
result of
vents?
some sort of...
When has there not been a cat in the vents? They're always in the vents. They're either in the vents or on the floors. I'll get this part done. If I do this, and then I will end stream. Possibly I might resume this tomorrow. Because I am doing this for the primo gyms as well. Because I do need them. If I want to have enough pulls, I've got 2 weeks to grind. 2 weeks. That's all I have before the next phase.
I came here several times with my father when I was little, but stopped eating here as often after growing up. I hope the food here will be to your taste.
Oh, don't worry. We haven't eaten at a hotel like this in a while. Paimon's getting excited already.
In that case, I'll go order for us first. Please wait here a moment.
Ooh, everything looks so good. People in Fontaine sure know how to enjoy life.
Why, of course. Go ahead, try whatever you like. If the food's good, I'll make a group reservation for the rest of Spina di Rosula next time.
And if it's not?
Well, then I'll still bring everyone. Albeit with only one dish per table.
You, sure have your own way of doing things. Oh, we called this a farewell meal, but we could also treat it like a victory feast, right? We did just win that case after all.
Certainly worth celebrating.
True. Very true. In that case, boss, we'll have another 2 dishes.
Huh? Paimon didn't mean that you had to order even more food. Speaking of cases, do you think that the mastermind behind the serial disappearances will get caught soon now that this has all happened?
Well, we've certainly taken a big step forward, but I feel that's about it. We know that there's an organization that means to dissolve these young women, but we still don't know what they are really after.
If it hadn't happened right in front of us, Paimon wouldn't have ever believed that a person could be dissolved like that.
Right? Yet it was because this was such a preposterous notion that the investigation could never really move forward before.
Ugh. If only that guy could have finished speaking! We were so close to hearing who was behind it.
In such investigations, even the smallest step can seem like a yawning chasm if the trail of clues is cut off. To be honest, I don't have high hopes for any follow-up that the authorities might conduct. It's not that I don't have faith in their ability, it's just that a different perspective is required in some matters. It's easy to guard against and deceive a single narrow perspective. A shift in thinking is required at such times in order to produce a breakthrough. Which is exactly why the Spina di Rosula exist. Those highfalutin folk are not all-knowing. That's why we exist. To seep into the cracks where filth falls through, where their watch fails them. That's the kind of problems we solve.
Seems Paimon thought things were simpler than they actually are.
It's all right. Well, this was supposed to be a farewell meal, so I doubt you have further interest in this business, right? Let's talk about something else. Like, what are your future plans?
We wanted to ask the Hydro Archon for some information, but we haven't had much opportunity to do so.
That's true. We didn't have a chance to speak to her after the trial ended. It didn't really seem like the right time or place to do it anyway.
I see. So, your primary objective, which has been foiled so far, was to have a chat with the Hydro Archon. I've heard that there's a long line of people waiting to meet Lady Farina. I suspect you'll be waiting for quite a while, considering that you missed your chance today.
Yeah, we've heard that she's super popular here in Fontaine, and that it'll be tough getting any of her time.
Well, would you consider some more, unique ways? Perhaps even methods of, let's say, questionable legality?
Guess that's Spina di Rosula's boss for you. Chock full of sketchy ideas. Well, what did you have in mind?
Well, one way would be to infiltrate a performance troupe at the Opera House, only to abandon your act at the play's climax and ask to speak to her after the performance. I'm sure Lady Farina would be eager to see the ending, and would agree in order to finish watching the play, don't you think?
Could you suggest something a little more practical? This plan seems pretty hard to pull off. We'd have to go learn how to act, and acting's really hard.
Paimon, girl, I know how to act.
Here's another. Find a way to conceal yourselves under her bed. Then, wake her up in the dead of night and demand answers. Don't let her go back to sleep until she answers all your questions.
Okay, that's
I can
just
personally
creepy.
testify that this one works. When I'm sleepy, I'll do anything as long as I can finally get some sleep.
That's just creepy.
That might work, but that's not really the problem. The problem is we don't want to get ourselves arrested.
Valid point. I overlooked that part. I was just thinking about leveraging a person's desire for sleep.
How can you overlook something like that?
All right, no more joking around. Perhaps you could... Oh, I don't know. Cut the line when she's on a break. You did defeat her in court, clearing citizens of hers from false accusations. False accusations she had nearly upheld personally. I imagine that she feels quite ashamed about the whole thing.
You mean that if we catch her while she's on a break, she might be too embarrassed to refuse? Oh, that does make some sense.
It's worth a try.
Why don't we give it a try after this meal? You know, strike while the iron is hot and all.
Huh? Paimon, did you drink my Fanta?
Was this your drink? Sorry about that. Paimon wasn't really paying attention and the cup was right next to Paimon. Would you like to order another?
No, it's fine. We're just about done here.
Alright. Honestly, Paimon wouldn't recommend Fanta anyway. It tastes kind of salty and icky.
I drink lots of tea that way too.
Is that so? Huh. Well, in that case, we'll have to blacklist the Fanta here then. If we're all finished eating, then I'll go pay.
Yeah, we're stuffed.
I didn't realize my mouse pad's working now. It wasn't working before. It better not be putting me into more dialogue, right? It's not gonna put me in more dialogue.
So full. Paimon can barely float anymore.
You could try walking, you know.
Nah, that would be so normal. You know, like you.
Okay. As for expenses this month, we're left with...
What is that supposed to mean, Paimon? What is that supposed to mean? That was just rude.
Hey, Navia, what are you doing over there?
Oh, nothing. It was just a meal, you know? Nothing the Spina di Rosula can't cover.
That was a pretty pricey meal. All thanks to Paimon.
Let's get ready to try to meet the Hydro Archon again. Bye, Navia!
So this is goodbye, huh? Well, if you do encounter any other trouble in Fontaine, you're always welcome to contact the Spina di Rosula. I'll give your request the highest priority.
Oh, that's so sweet.
In any case, I wish you smooth sailing. I'll see you again, partner.
See ya. See ya, Navia. Okay, so I will have to continue this tomorrow. But let's check what there is. Let's see what there is. Nah. I don't have the patience to do side quests right now. Okay, so I will try to stream again tomorrow. I don't know if I will, but I might not. Still not entirely sure, but I am glad to be back in streaming. So, I hope